I want to cover several things here. First, I want to start off with a local news story. Now, there's a couple, an 18-year-old lady and a 17-year-old guy. As far as I know, I'd never met him. I don't know him or anything. Now, they were found dead up, they were camping somewhere around Payson, if I remember the story, somewhere up in the northeastern part of Arizona. It's a little bit cooler in that part of it's out close to the Mogollon Rim, the Colorado Plateau or somewhere in there. It's just a little bit cooler. So I don't know if it'd be hot enough for them to come to the elements, but the police are not giving details, but saying that they were murdered. Now, advice I'm going to give: now, if you got to go camping, either do it in a fairly public place where there's a fair number of people, or go in a large group, or be well armed and be prepared to defend yourself if it comes down to it. Just put that out there. Next thing I want to cover. Now, I got in a discussion with a friend of mine. Now, this is on Trump's deporting illegal aliens. Now, her point was, people that are here illegally should be deported no matter what. And for me, I say, somebody's entitled to their day in court. Now, if they're here illegally, that's one thing. If they've entered on some type of visa, if they're behaving themselves, let's say they were from a country like Venezuela, or Cuba, where we've given certain refugee status to. But there's a handful of these countries. There's a couple in Central America where if they're sent back, it's a possibility that some gang is going to kill them or something. So me as an American, I value our American way of life. I value the fairness of our court system. For me personally, I say a person has a right, even if they're here illegally. I say they still have their right to a day in court. They have a right to, defend their position. Now, my friend says, hey, they're here illegally. Send them back, no matter what circumstances they're going to be facing. If anybody out there has an opinion, well, you can do what I did and state it in a YouTube video, or comment here on it. But for me, I'd say even if they're here illegally, they're still entitled to their day in court. Maybe they were like that one guy that was later proved that he wasn't a member of a gang. Now, I think he should have been allowed to defend himself in court rather than just being arbitrarily deported. But that's my personal opinion. Okay, then that's the last thing I'm going to get to my paper here. Well, you're spiritual and not religious. Now, the reason I'm making this, I'm going to make one of these periodically. I was watching one episode of The Waltons. Now, The Waltons, the TV show, aired on TV from about 1970 to about 1979, 1980. I watched them as a kid and as an adult because they ran for quite a while. And one lady, like Judy Norton or something, she's got a YouTube channel here where she comments on the show, on her experience from the Waltons and stuff. That's pretty interesting if you want to watch. Judy Norton played, Mary Ellen Walton. I think Mary, the oldest lady. Let's see. Well, there's this one episode. This guy is one of those guys that are more of a scientific mind, they kind of get a discussion of religion. He's kind of saying that, but this guy's apparently an atheist, and he's saying that only primitive minds, believe in God. Only primitive minds will invent gods or gods to explain the forces of nature, like the wind and lightning and stuff like that. Now, for me personally, I call myself spiritual and not religious. I've covered it several times. I do believe in God. I do believe in a spirit, in a supreme being. I'm not part of one particular belief system. I believe we have a soul. I believe we have an afterlife. Now, my image of God is probably a little bit different than most people here. My image of God is what I call the creative life force of the cosmos. I think that we're all little bits and pieces of everything that has life to it. Everything that has a consciousness is a smaller, bigger part of the energy or the consciousness of the being that I think of as God. That's my image of God. I need to put that out there periodically. Okay. Love y'all. Bye-bye.